Now that we've got a building to do things in, and we're kind of got, we're going to use this as our home base for the time being. It's time to get some research going. So first of all, you can bring up the build menu, which you can do by hitting B or clicking that little build icon over there. And you're going to come over here and you're going to find tech. So you have a lot of things. You can build a small shack. Of course, like you can't build in someone else's city. You can buy buildings and use them, but you can't build other buildings inside another person's, another faction or whatever you would call this, like this way station. Even if I could fit it here, I can't build this small shack. It gets a little goofy. You'll see it'll give you a message. Can't build too close to another town. I can't build in here. I'd have to go like way out here, and I could start building another outpost. This would be like really far away. It's got to be a good. Yeah, they're way out here. Um, so I'm not going to do that. But we're talking about research. So, anyways, that's what the building menu does. How it works. There's a few things you have to start with that you can do. Um, oh, you do have this is from a mod, I think. I don't know what that does. I never use it, so don't ask me. I've never used it. Anyways, what we want is a tech. We want to build a small research bench. So you kind of the placement of objects is a little bit wonky sometimes and a pain. This is basically showing you what the object look like and where people will stand around it. It's you can see down here at the bottom. You can see under small research bench, it has num people. It'll say one, so only one person. Not there's not going to be like six people or whatever standing around this thing using it. It's just like where they can stand to use it. So you kind of want to figure out like this is kind of a small one and I'm only going to need it for the first level of tech. Later, I'm going to have to build a bigger research bench, but I'll probably just leave this one. And you can kind of also use it for a little bit of storage if you need it. So I'll try to put it like right here. I'm just trying to place it as far against the wall so it's kind of out of the way so I have room to build other things. But you can't really move. You can move things, but it's a little glitchy. It's better off you just build things where you want them. And so you kind of want to plan ahead. You'll get that hang of it over some time. But you can see down here also the material cost is 3 and the number of people is 1. Efficiency is 85%. So as you build better research benches, as you unlock more advanced technology, the efficiency is higher. Um, that is something I'm actually kind of a numbskull and just realized recently because I used to just build the small. You can build you'll need a higher tech research bench in order to do higher level tech, but you can still use this research bench to research it. And I just noticed recently that the efficiency was 85%. Part of that doesn't really matter. It's part of that is just because usually you leave someone to do research and you just kind of forget about them and say, "Hey, go do this," and you just come back later and they finish it eventually. So anyways, but that's kind of a good thing to point out because I just had was a bonehead and never noticed that. Um, so you do need a more advanced tech bench to do advanced research, but you can use any lower level tech bench to research it once you've spent the required resources to purchase that technology to research it. So I'll show you how that works real quick. We're gonna place it right there because that looks pretty good. It's kind of under the stairs and out of the way and we'll say confirm. Obviously, when it's red means you can't place it. Green, you can. You just hit confirm. Bada boom, it's in there. He's not in there, so we can't see it. Now he has the required. It requires. It'll even show you when you click on stuff. Okay, it needs 3 building materials. I got him the materials, so I'm going to go ahead and give him the engineering job again and let him build it. Heck, I'll let her come and help him so it gets built a little faster. And once I'll let them go. They're gonna go start building it, and once they're done, I'll come back and show you what else I wanted to talk about with research. Okay, so they're almost done. Boom, they finished it. Now they've completed building the research bench. We don't have any research artifacts yet. Like I said, it is sort of a storage container. Part of that is because you need to put your research artifacts into it in order to choose your research. But for now, she doesn't need to be carrying that around, so I'll put it in there for the time being. Um, so let's talk about that. You need books, like I said, to start lower level research. Let's click on it real quick to look at the research tree as it stands now. So you'll see anything red means, okay, you now have um, I guess research what or whatever, or you have the like we built a base research bench, so we need that in order to research level tech level two. So, but it's red because we don't have. You'll see down here, we need 6 books, 6 regular books to research tech two. So we don't have any, so that's red. Small house, we need 2 books. Some of these things you can go ahead and research without any books. So if you get building supply early game, you can just build a research bench and you can, for instance, research things for gear storage and item storage. So you can build things to be able to store your gear and stuff in. I think that's pretty much all you can do. Maybe, yeah, okay, storage boxes or so this is something we're going to get out of the way so we can automate, like I was talking about the copper um, mining and just kind of ignore people that are doing it. And they'll just put it in the storage, and then we can go to the storage and take it and sell it if we want to, or save it for later when we need it as an actual resource to do things with or make things. Um, so, anyways, there's some research that you can do without books, but we're going to go run over real quick because the other reason I don't think I mentioned why I like being here in this way station is because I can now go talk to this construction trader and he has books in stock. So they're a little pricey, not too bad. They're only 300 cats, but I'm going to spend. This is one of the reasons I want a nice, steady, even if it's kind of low revenue stream of copper coming in is because I can now purchase books daily from this guy and add to my research and get a lot of the low level research done. You'll use regular books, I think, pretty much for most of the stuff up through tech level 3. Once you get to tech level 4, there might be a few things you use books for still there, but you're going to start needing ancient science books from that time on. So that's where like you can get to a certain tech level just by doing this, and then you're going to need to acquire some higher level, more rare artifacts in order to do your research. So I'm going to go ahead and buy his books that he has, and I'm going to run back over to my bench. And the way you tell them to do research is I'm going to select which research I want to do. So the way I do it, you don't have to do it this way. Like right now, I have enough. Oh, you see, it's still red. I'm like, oh, why is it red? That happens all the time. I'm like, oh, wait, oh, wait. Oh, it's because you have to put the books in the bench. Now they're in the bench. Now it's still red because I also need to research small house first. So I got to research small house. I'll go ahead and add that to the tree. Boom, I selected it. Basically, I spent the books to get small house. Okay, now, okay, I don't want, actually, I'm not going to research tech level 2. I don't want to waste 6 books on that yet. What I tend to do is research everything I'll leave this till it's the last thing available to me. And then I will go and research that tech level and then start doing the other one. You don't have to do it that way. There might be things you want to get to quicker in, say, tech level 2. Like I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think um, beds, I think, is in tech level 2. So that's something you might want to get pretty quick. But so you can make beds in like your house if you have one or if you're at your base so you can stop sleeping in a sleeping bag and actually get faster healing. Because beds, by the way, I think have a 800% or times 8 healing factor, and in sleeping bags it's like 300% or times 3 or times 4. So it's like less than half in a sleeping bag. So, anyways, that's really all it is. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say, okay, I can get all this stuff that was free, didn't cost me any books. I'm gonna move small. I'm just gonna do it that way. It doesn't really matter how you do it. I'm gonna say, what else do I want? Anyways, you can just kind of go through here and read about what they do. You need to be able to manufacture fabric from like cotton or hemp. Um, so that's a skill you need. It's fairly inexpensive. It's only 1 book. But these things are this is the makeshift walls. You can build walls around a base. So you can see why I don't establish a base immediately at the beginning of the game because I like to get better technology and have better building capabilities. For one, also like industry, I can get like these will get me the ability to create iron plates and things like that. But it it requires a lot of labor. So like the initial machine you can make to make the iron plates, it's easier to build because it takes less resources. Like it requires less things, like fewer iron plates, for instance, to make this thing, or fewer building supplies or electronic components or whatever it is that it requires. It requires fewer for the lower level thing, and that may be a way to get a base kind of started, but it also requires a lot of people to operate it efficiently. So if you don't have a lot of people, I tend to like to get up to the highest tech I can possibly get fairly quickly, so that you need either fewer or no people to run it. You just like they just have to carry the resources and stick it in the machine, and it comes out the other side. So it's less labor intensive, if that makes sense. So that's kind of how I run it, but you can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter what order you research things in. You'll kind of learn that there's certain things I need. Like I need to have power. That's another thing. This base does not have a lot of power. That was one thing I noticed after I already bought the building. I was like, ooh, it's got this one windmill. Wind power usually comes from like windmills and generators and things like that. Towns usually have enough. There's some towns that I built in before and bought a building and tried to do this and realized after the fact that holy cow, there's no power here. The reason there's like less power is because I guess it sounds windy, but I guess it's not that much wind here. So I'm probably going to need to be able to run more machines because everything costs power. Even like an armor smith, even though it's just beating plates or whatever, everything costs some power. I'm probably going to need to get to a point where I have what's called the small wind generator. Yeah, sorry, small wind generator, so I can put it like I'll probably need to put a couple on the roof just so I have like surplus power. I'll put as few as I need to, but um, I just need to make sure I have power. This Some towns you can build in like one of the ones I'll do this kind of start where I do, researching from a city is in a town called Mongrel, which we'll get to eventually and visit, maybe pretty soon actually, because I kind of want to run over there and grab one of the characters that's there. But that town has plenty of power and a lot of great stuff in the city. And it's not faction related. It's kind of an independent, sort of like a criminal hideout kind of town. So it's cool, and there's some interesting. It's in an interesting area of the map, which if you've been there before, you know what I'm talking about, and it's can be somewhat exciting. And so, anyways, that's it. That's it for research. We're gonna get some research. My goal too. So here's yeah. I think I mentioned this. I'm gonna try to get together a group of peeps that are kind of my explorers and adventurers and send them out so they have like somewhat strength in numbers to start fighting, and getting good at combat and just running around so they'll get stronger and more athletic and sneakier and all that good stuff, and they'll go collect ancient artifacts for research. And I'll probably try to get us a few like maybe just a few people, like two or three, that are just hang out here, and their sole purpose is going to be like one of them's going to be to research. One person, one or two people will probably just mine copper, um, and then maybe we'll set some of those guys if they're not busy doing research, or we don't need to mine copper anymore. We can have them like start building up some smithing skills or something like that while they're here, and uh, and kind of play it that way. So we have someone who later on or progressively will be able to make weapons for us and make armor that's of high quality. And at some point, everybody else wears is like pales in comparison to you. So that's kind of where we'll go with that. Anyways, that's it on research, and we'll and where we're planning to do and go. So that'll probably be it for a while. I may run around and go just do things and not talk about stuff, and Probably won't record a lot of that unless it's something funny or interesting or something comes to mind. I'm like, oh wow, this is something people probably need to know. Like when you're first playing, you're like, you wouldn't know to do this, or you wouldn't know this is how this works, or something like that. I'll try to point that out, but I'm going to try to get a little bit of a group of people. There's also maybe a couple unique recruits that I'll get, and I'll probably just say, here's this. This is, I mean, not to be a spoiler, but because you can find this stuff all over the forums, but I'll just like say, yeah, here it is. This is how you get this person, or this is where you find them, or whatnot. Because you can just read on like Reddit or whatever and find all that stuff. So that's that. All right, thanks, and we'll talk soon.